Right, am I connected here? Just need to find the timer. Okay, there it is. It's live. Okay. All right, so I am going to listen to and make comments about the safety meeting that Natchitoches recently had, and we'll just learn what the recent developments in Natchitoches. And this is as my case is going on, still in the appeals court process. So um, I'm very interested in what's still happening in Natchitoches, even though I'm not quite there. I still have $1,500 in being held by them, being bound to their jurisdiction for over 4 days more in jail and $411. So what's going on over there is still is of great concern. So let's get to it and see what's going on. This was a safety press conference that happened about 4 days ago.
Good afternoon to everyone on this beautiful December day.
And also, I'd like to welcome everyone for coming to my channel. Thank you. And yeah, we'll see what they say.
Our quiet haven of a city has recently fallen prey to a group of individuals who refuse to abide by the rule of law.
Who refuse to abide by the rule of law. Now, their law seems to be pretty subjective. All right, I was thrown in jail for over my camera, and what are they arresting people for? I mean, they're making a lot. Yeah, crime is out of control, but really, I mean, give us some statistics, give us some backgrounds, not just tell us these generalized statements that how do we verify what you're saying is actually true?
This uptick in senseless violence is not unique to Natchitoches.
And that's something I have concern about when he says it's not unique to Natchitoches. That no, I've been to a lot of other safe cities. All right, this is very unique to Natchitoches. So he's not speaking for the rest of the country. There are a lot more law-abiding citizens in other cities. There's cities. I mean, right here. In this current city I'm at. It's in the past few cities I've been through in Missouri. I never heard any. Well, I have heard gunfire, but I never felt the fear, because I believe that when I heard the gunfire in the cities I've been to north of here, I believe they were shooting at targets, and that's it. Unlike in Natchitoches, where they fire gunshots into the air for fun, and in a lot of ways to intimidate each other, right in the city. And I heard it almost every night when I was in Natchitoches over the past over the about 3 months I was there.
Nationwide, our entire country is in a battle against bad actors whose irrational and senseless attacks are unpredictable and, as a result, sometimes extremely hard to counteract. I love Natchitoches. It is my home. I am raising my 3 incredible children here, and in just over a month, my wife and I will welcome our 4th child. All of our children were born right here in this amazing city. We plan to raise our family here. So many others share this narrative. Some may have come to attend the Northwestern State University and decided to stay and make Natchitoches their home. Others have happened upon our historic town and decided to retire here. Whatever your story, one consistent expectation must be realized for all of us. Natchitoches must be a safe place to live.
Yes, there's the focus on crime, but I'd like to hear him address the police and how he will hold them to a higher accountability. He's attacking the citizens, and he's saying there's a lot of bad people amongst you guys. And since they're not quite sure who they are, he's taking he's attacking the community in a way, saying that you guys have a lot of bad actors in you, and he's not pointing any fault on himself, on his own administration.
I assure you, safety is a top priority for my administration. The unfortunate truth is that many of the recent acts of criminal activity were carried out by young people. We have already worked to put safe and meaningful recreation opportunities in place for our youth. This work will endure as I continue to partner with various groups and organizations. According to a recent Associated Press article shared with me by Chief Collins, the U.S. gun death rate last year hit its highest mark in nearly 3 decades. It is no secret that cities all across the United States are witnessing a meteoric rise.
So he's talking about gun violence in general. He doesn't have any statistics to give about his own city. And I mean, the chief, I watched his the last video about his update, and he gave some statistics. I don't quite remember what they were, but all the mayor wants to do is make blanket statements, say that Natchitoches problems are nation problems. Natchitoches problems are national problems. It's not unique. He says he says Natchitoches is not unique. I say Natchitoches is unique. Natchitoches problems all is a cultural thing in that region. You're not by how they're interacting with each other.
In gun violence and other violent crime for that matter. Experts trying to unpack why we've seen an increase in gun violence nationwide believe higher gun sales, stress, and mental health issues are to blame in part for its proliferation. To be sure, I came into office as violent crime was already on the rise, and I made the promise that I would do everything in my power to make Natchitoches a safer place, a city in which its people, regardless of the neighborhood they live in, will begin to feel safe again.
And he's done a great job making information very safe from the public. Okay, he's done a very great job, and they tried to like put a sanctions on me to prevent me from being able to do any public records requests. And Judge Owsley made the right decision there. One of his few, about saying that no, I'm allowed. I have a constitutional right to make public records requests. But I mean, as you could see in this video, they shut down the comments. They shut down comments on Facebook. They severely limit and make crazy arguments when you make public information requests about the city and the police and their records. I mean they cite laws stating that judges have ruled in law that you can't the police have their public records protected from the public because something embarrassing could be revealed. So the protection is more on the government's end. He's sitting from a very protective shield himself, and then attacking the people, saying that he's gonna provide protection, and he's more focused on himself and his own business, really.
about their community. University of Michigan researchers assert firearm violence is a worsening problem in the United States and will require a range of efforts to control. To that end, at the beginning of my administration, my office, working with the DA's office, started the first ever Crime Stoppers organization to allow people to feel safe about reporting a crime in Natchitoches. I want to
And just let me say, Crime Stoppers started as something else. It started as like say the McGruff service. And if you look at their early Facebook posts, it started as something else. So what he did was abandon something very similar to Crime Stoppers that was called something else, and just it just like it was. As a name change, or it was just kind of an organizational change, still doing the same thing of trying to encourage people to snitch on each other and call their phone number. And we'll see what he says.
I want to strongly encourage every resident that if you know a crime has been committed in your area, use Crime Stoppers to report it, and I guarantee you that no one will ever know about it.
What does he mean by that? No one will ever know about it? He doesn't want any leaks in any way. He doesn't want to share. He doesn't want the exchange of information. It's just incredible how much they shut down the communication channels, and I think that's what makes Natchitoches unique. That's what makes their problem so bad, is because their communication levels. No one will ever know when you call Crime Stoppers, but let's see what he says.
You will receive a monetary reward. That number is 318-238-2388.
No one will ever know you got some money snitching on someone else. That's what he's advertising. It's this the government is making is got like maybe a grant. The city's gotten a grant to fund the Crime Stoppers, and they're trying to make it this real secretive snitching program. I believe that their chicken delivery program is a part of Crime Stoppers. I don't have evidence. I mean, I have evidence of police delivering chicken, but I don't have the evidence connecting the chicken to Crime Stoppers. I mean, I have made my observations. I've seen the prosecutor go over to the police station and come back with the same chicken bags. Yeah, you could be anonymous only if you call Crime Stoppers, and that's the only way to report your crimes is through Crime Stoppers. They shut down Facebook, they shut down YouTube, they shut down everything else. And the only way to report is through Crime Stoppers. That's the only way they want you to. That's funneling the information too much. It's tightening the conversation way too much.
Another crime-reducing effort in which my administration was a key player is the reemergence of the Boys and Girls Club in Natchitoches. Certainly, the Boys and Girls Club would not have been possible without the work of people like Vanna Erickson, but the city was pivotal in the organization's reestablishment as well. Another endeavor that I'm really excited about because of its potential effectiveness is the presence of Big Brothers, Big Sisters Natchitoches. City of Natchitoches will be only the third branch of Big Brothers, Big Sisters in Louisiana because I work to get money from the state legislature to fund the program for up to a year.
Yeah, and that's good to have a connection like that when the parents may not be in the child's life as much as needed. So to have avenue or a place where the kids can go. Um, I believe I met the boys and girls club representative when I went to one of the city council meetings. So he's an older guy. They're going to these city council meetings representing the boys and girls club because they have strong ties to the city, and because the mayor clearly says it's the third Boys and Girls Club in Louisiana. It's like what is he saying? There's three only, so it's a program that is strongly tied to the city. I don't know enough about it, but it's interesting.
And on the agenda this coming Monday is an ordinance designed to help us, among other things, or to help us, among other things, to pay our officers better so that we may keep and attract individuals to protect my precious Natchitoches residents. Other initiatives.
Paying the officers more, um, and it's interesting to look into that to see if really is it a pay thing? Is that why the crime is so bad that the cops aren't working as hard because they don't feel they're getting enough? Is there some kind of a police revolt going on here where they've they've reduced their working efforts because they're not getting paid enough?
That I have established are the Summer Youth Employment, the Mayor's Youth Council, the Angel Fund that is administered by Parks and Rec personnel to in some cases totally eliminate the cost of participating in youth sporting activities in the city of Natchitoches. Still, crime is a wicked problem that requires a varied approach to see its reduction. It is an issue that I think about every single day.
And the thing is, I'm listening for him to, well, he's talking about the problem. He's given some solutions, saying that he's got a vested interest in this, and that he's also fought for the child, for the big brother, big sister. But I mean, I have to listen more to see what he says. I'll have to admit I did watch this before, but I didn't quite remember everything he said. Uh, I'm waiting to hear better solutions. He's thinking about it every day.
I want to stress again that we need the entire community working together in this effort. This is no time for finger pointing. I need members of the community to let us know that a crime has been committed. In some cases, we need parents and guardians.
Because the cops are usually supposed to be the last people called for an issue that people have between each other. The cops are usually the last people you want to call. All right. It's not they're not the first. You don't go to the you try to reconcile the issue on the lower levels first. Maybe get a mediator of some kind, but to just to go straight from, oh, I see something suspicious, to calling the cops is a huge step towards getting bigger problems that could develop.
to ensure that the youth they are raising are not developing into violent actors in our community. We will also advocate at the state and federal levels for policies and dollars that make for a safer Natchitoches. Specifically on the state level, we will seek ways that people may be held accountable for their criminal actions, even if they happen to be juvenile at the time of the crime. I also want to firmly state that there is no expense too great regarding the safety of Natchitoches residents and Natchitoches visitors alike. Today, I am publicly proposing an administrative restructuring detailed in section 4.09 of our local constitution.
All right. He wants to. He says no expense is too small to protect the residents, the community, something like that. And now he's going into a constitutional issue that I believe he wants to change.
Most of us simply just call the charter. Specifically, I am appointing for the council's consideration J.D. Oliphant as Director of Public Safety for the city of Natchitoches. J.D. is the son of Hattie P. Ware.
Okay, he's changing the charter, which is also known as the Constitution, because it didn't make room for a public safety director, which will oversee the police chief and the fire chief. So 80% probably dismissed. Okay, is that in Louisiana, Dan? The police chief is on the left, and then the fire chief is on the right, and they're proposing to bring in another guy to oversee them under the mayor, but above the chiefs, both chiefs.
And the late J.D. Oliphant Sr., who served the city of Natchitoches as a lineman for a number of years. He is the husband of Danielle Cundy Oliphant and the father of 4 beautiful and handsome children, 2 sons and 2 daughters. A lifelong Natchitoches resident, J.D. began his illustrious law enforcement career as a patrol officer at the Natchitoches Police Department in 1991. After serving the city for 3 years, J.D. was hired as a Louisiana State Police trooper at Troop E in Alexandria, Louisiana. Throughout his tenure as a state trooper, he served as a field training officer, defensive tactics instructor, narcotics investigator, and so much more. Ultimately, Mr. Oliphant earned an appointment as a deputy superintendent of patrol. Throughout his law enforcement career, J.D. earned the reputation for being firm but fair and earned the respect of the men and women who worked under his command. J.D. recently received his bachelor's degree in Unified Public Safety Administration from the Northwestern State University. As Director of Public Safety for the city, J.D. will plan, direct, supervise, oversee, and coordinate the daily operations of the city's police and fire departments, providing.
See, he's going to watch over the police chief and the fire chief, and he's not. This is an appointed position. This is a potentially appointed position. It doesn't sound like it is a position that is already decided upon. It has to be like maybe voted upon by the council. So there's some feedback that still can be put forward to maybe suggest to go in a different direction. I'm not familiar with this type of structural change. If anybody has ever heard of this structural change in a city to have this type of appointment, the public safety to oversee the fire chief and the police chief. But that's what they're proposing in this conference, the safety conference.
Administrative and operational input regarding day-to-day operations of both departments. Assist in developing departmental policy and public policy. JD will also advise me on public safety issues, including providing guidance on policy and strategy initiatives.
And these policies can be shared with the public. The mayor is getting reports. So if you could, I mean, when I was requesting, and other guys like Dan were requesting public information, we were getting denied. And in a way, I think what's going on with this sharing of information is it only goes up. The information only goes up from the people who call Crime Stoppers to all the government officials who share the information. It all goes up to the mayor. Everything falls back on the mayor, and he doesn't want to give out any other information. Oh, he's kind enough to give the community Boys and Girls Club, but not to be transparent.
Hear me when I say we need a robust and well-curated plan to combat crime in our city. I have two outstanding public safety directors already in Chief John Wynn of the Natchitoches Fire Department and Chief Nikhil Collins of the Natchitoches Police Department. They will continue to serve in their current capacity and report to the Director of Public Safety.
So the police chief and the fire chief were probably reporting to the mayor, and now the mayor maybe he got tired of listening to them, so now he's having them report to this. He wants them to report to the public safety guy, and instead this in the telephone game, that's adding another link that can cause confusion. And it's interesting that they decided to go this route, and I'm curious how they came to this conclusion. Are they trying to model another city?
As we tackle issues such as increasing pay, our expanding city footprint, and the uptick in crime in our city, Chief Wynn and Chief Collins will work with the Director of Public Safety to not just plan a response, but also to implement it. The wealth of public safety knowledge Mr. J.D. Oliphant will bring to the position will be invaluable as we move our city forward into an even safer future. We will continue to establish legal and safe outlets and activities for our youth. We will continue to pray for the mindset of bad actors and the safety of all residents and those who will fall victim to crime.
Yeah, see, why does the fire chief need somebody over him? That's the thing. I think the bigger focus is going to be the public safety guy overseeing the police chief, over Nikhil Collins. And Nikhil Collins already has a assistant police chief in Chief Winters. So there's a police chief. There's the, I don't know what level they got. Lieutenants. They got assistant police chiefs. There could probably be more than just one. There might be another one for all I know. They love titles here. All right, they just love building titles on top of titles. There's something about their mindset, their culture in this town that they take a lot of pride in titles, but anything that's shameful that has to be buried under the rug. They can't humble themselves. They can't learn from their mistakes. We'll just bury it under the carpet instead. But these titles, why is the fire chief? Why does he have another supervisor? The mayor does not address at this up to this point, a single fire issue. Okay, why did the fire chief get dragged into this?
We will continue to do what we know works in various departments throughout the city. But we will also be thoughtfully responsible to the needs of our city in this moment. This is our city, and we would not allow it to be taken from us. This time I want to bring Mr. J.D. Oliphant to the podium as he's going to address us with some remarks.
Thank you.
And this guy, he looks like a tough guy. He's a bigger guy than all of them. They bring in a tough-looking guy, and that's gonna maybe be a little intimidating. You're wondering, okay, Chief Nikhil Collins isn't scary enough. Let's bring in somebody who looks a little tougher, a little meaner.
Good afternoon to Mayor Williams and his staff, city council members, and the citizens of the great city of Natchitoches, Louisiana. Thank you for yet another grateful opportunity to serve to you. I'm truly humbled to even be considered, yet selected for such a position as the Director of Public Safety.
Yeah, sorry, the volume is. He's got maybe a deeper voice. He's a little taller than the mayor. He's a little further from the mic, but it's harder to hear him.
In the city of Natchitoches. I want to thank my lovely wife Danielle Oliphant, as well as our children, Caitlin, J3, Dawson, and Paisley, for their unwavering support in every endeavor. Chief Wynn and Chief Collins, as well as the members of your respective departments, I want to thank you for your service. I look forward to working alongside each of you, and I want to make sure we as a team provide the safest environment possible for not only the citizens of Natchitoches, but for those who travel abroad and who visit our great city. As I stated before, it's a team effort in which I fully understand cannot be done alone or overnight. We must strive to build and maintain relationships with our local, state, and federal partners, and share those resources necessary to accomplish our mission to provide public safety. When citizens are afraid to step outside of their homes, walk down the street.
So he's talking about almost implementing military directives, military measures. You're not an army of one. You need an army to be able to go into the neighborhoods, because the citizens are scared. Go in and fight back for your neighborhoods, one neighborhood at a time. Go in there and go to war against the crime. And I mean, I believe that the guns are a big problem. They're being fired off often. But, this is a strong measure that the mayor is taking. And I wonder, I heard a lot of gunfire, but they never could find the people who were shooting off rounds. I met quite a few people for gun charges in jail. This one young guy, we talked, and he was caught with a AR-15, and we were in L1, the cell L1, and then I got moved to D4 a few weeks, about a week later, and I asked him if he's got any updates for his case, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna just say that the gun's it's my wife's gun." He's gonna because apparently he doesn't have a license, but maybe his wife does, so he's just gonna say he was carrying his wife's gun. So they are running around with guns, and they're firing off a lot of rounds. But I wonder, how much is it really all criminals that I hear firing off these rounds? I've developed a little bit of suspicion that it's possible. It only happens at night. When I was there, I never heard it. Well, early mornings like 4 a.m. I never hear it midday. Like they do it in the dark, and I wonder if maybe some cops joined in on the just shooting off a few rounds here and there. I have my suspicions that maybe cops are doing it a little bit too. Um, just random shooting without any targets, without anybody getting hit. Sometimes people get hit. It's apparently a lot of family members. There's family members or there's neighbors who just get just they want to settle their matter on the streets and not take it to court. They don't want to call anybody. They just want to settle it themselves right there, right now, and with whatever weapons they have available, and somehow they're getting their hands on these AR-15s quite a bit. Uh,
Or check their mailbox. That's totally unacceptable. I ask you, the public, to give us an opportunity to develop and plan actions and put actions in place to increase and enhance public safety. In doing so, I ask that you please hold each of us accountable.
he's saying he wants to be held accountable. Well, I mean, I tried. Um, will he? He does. I haven't heard anything about transparency yet. Just that he's going to invade the neighborhoods and go to war with the criminals and take back the neighborhoods so people aren't scared to walk on the street. But how about a little bit of transparency? I mean, how about if you're saying you want to be held accountable? I want to know his stance on transparency. All right. Will they send Goldweems after me again? The Goldweems law firm, when I ask for police policies.
Just as I will these gentlemen and their departments. Mayor Williams has spoken to me regarding public safety, and it is very important to him as a leader. Therefore, it is and has always been important to me. He has allocated nearly $500,000 to ensure efforts to provide public safety to the citizens or the city of Natchitoches.
$500,000. That's just, I mean, what is it? Just a lump sum that they just were given, and now they could just it's in their bank account, and now they could just figure out how to spend it on whatever. The majority of that lump sum is going towards police operations, and this is their solution, to take that $500,000 and put it into another level of authority above the police chief. I'm not just focused on the police chief. I don't. There's just there. The mayor hasn't mentioned it. The safety guy hasn't mentioned it about the fire chiefs. About any problems on the fire chief's side. What kind of issues is he in need of more help with?
And make sure it's adequately funded. And we plan to utilize those funds accordingly. Public safety starts with certain foundational values such as professionalism, integrity, honor, courtesy, and loyalty.
Yeah, you listen, professionalism, integrity, honor, courtesy, or whatever. Where is transparency? They don't. They only want to take in information, not give anything out. They want to operate in a secretive fashion. They don't want to hear what the community has to say. They want to tell what the community. They want to tell the community what they need to hear, but they don't want to hear back from them.
I won't accept anything less. And these values will be the standard for which these departments will operate. Change is inevitable, and oftentimes we must adjust to ensure these transitions are as effective and efficient as possible. For some, the change will be difficult to adapt to, but I'll do my best to make sure it won't be difficult to adhere to. One of the more common issues regarding personnel within some departments is recruitment and retention. Although not having adequate staffing somewhat impairs our ability to respond to calls for service, we must still perform our duties and responsibilities with the personnel we have. The time is now that we move forward in a positive light, ensure the morale of these agencies is intact, and do what we can do as a team to bring an unmatched level of professional service and public safety to the citizens in the city of Natchitoches. Thank you.
So this is the guy. That's what he proposes for. The guy should read all the transcripts and look at all the evidence. Okay. Yeah, I mean Judge Owsley is a part of this too. He's in, well, all the judges really, the lawyers, the judges. This is going to change their communication a little bit. But they think, you know, all their problems, they're not getting all these crimes with the young guys and stuff. They see that the nothing's getting, there's no relief from the crime, so they're going to bring in this big guy, who's entirely focused on waging war against the community, as for safety, of course. We need your ID for safety. So this one guy, that's their solution. That's just add an extra level to an already top heavy like ranking system. They got a top heavy ranking system going on here, and they figure, well, let's squeeze in another position. Maybe this guy who looks a little bit more intimidating. We'll squeeze him into this top heavy administration, and well, I mean, how many young people are watching have watched this press conference? All right, I asked that. Yeah, thank you, Mike. The hotspot. I am paying $75 for 20 gigs, so that helps. I am dipping into. I'm paying for the Wi-Fi right now per gig.
Thank you, Mr. Oliphant. At this particular time, there may be some questions that we could ask.
Okay, we're at the question point, and now I just want to bring up just some afterthoughts after hearing the speech. I'll play. Well, you can listen to. You see the city of Natchitoches, their channel. But I wanted to mention, they got $500,000, and their solution there's just absolutely no talk of technology in any way. They're trying to solve this with adding another guy, and talking about the police being understaffed and underpaid. Work with they want to try to solve this with people, with paying more, bringing in another guy, and restructuring how the safety of the cops are engaging with the community, and it's like, there's other cities have done other things, and like I've been to cities that have had shot spotter, that have had cameras, and the only step that this city is taking for technology is promoting a phone line. That's it. What's wrong with using a shot spotter? What's wrong with using cameras in key locations? All right, there's no talk about making use of cameras or any surveillance. I mean, I've been to cities that have had shot spotter. I've seen it. I don't know how well it works, but I would think that maybe there's some there can be another way uh, to fight the crime. I mean, they're shooting off guns, and you're expecting people to hear that? They're shooting off guns so much. A shot spotter would really be picking up this a lot, and I don't understand why they haven't used any kind of a hearing, even just some kind of a mic, put up a mic, and just listen in the these guns are being shot off in the evening time. Have some kind of audio pickup in key locations. Have it on the west side, the east side, the north and south, and when a gun is fired, it's going to be louder on a certain in a certain location, and then you'd be able to pinpoint that location where the gunfire occurred. I mean, instead, no, they got to bring in this other guy, and try to hire better people, and then pay the cops more. There's no talk about the corruption that's going on with the police, and how they're arresting people like me for my ID without any probable cause, and how the judge is locking me up and saying that, and asking the question, who records in a library? Who records in a library? It's like they hate cameras here, and they just want everything to be private, and nobody needs to know. And it's like, well, if you want to if you want to take a better step at dealing with crime, more people should be involved. More people should know. All right. But I've heard people argue that, what if the criminals know more, then they're going to be better prepared to avoid being caught easier. The criminals can avoid being caught better if they know more. So these guys want to make sure the criminals know less. All right, because that's their solution that they've been so focused on. And then let's fill up the top of our rankings with more people. It's I mean, it just boggles my mind. I'm not exactly sure how all other cities fare with their methods, but I mean, it doesn't. I mean, this bringing in another guy, it doesn't make sense to me.
I want to offer that opportunity if there are any questions at this time. Yes, ma'am. I actually have my finance director who's here. Do you want to? Yeah, come on up. You're here. She could explain it better than I can. Yeah.
Didn't know I was on the program. Okay, so in order to fund the salary for this position, which is greatly needed, we did go back to our budget for the police department. Because we have not been fully staffed, the money that we had originally allocated has not been consumed in its entirety. So those savings will be applied to the salary, and then going into the next fiscal year, we will be able to budget his salary 100%. So that's where, so it's no additional revenue or expenses that will be incurred, because it's already money that was budgeted.
So that's something that'd be interesting to look into. They're not spending. They propose a budget every year, and they're underspending on their budget. So maybe it's a problem with asking for more than they need, and their solution is, since we got more than we need, we'll bloat our hirees instead, and add other positions.
Thanks a lot, Professor. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Precious Barbara. I guess this will be more of a rhetorical question and a part of the planning and strategizing process. I guess I want to know is who suggested that we hold the meeting at 2:30 p.m. And the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of parents were contacting me that said they wanted to be a part of this meeting, but because they have to wait in school lines, or some would even hit me from work, sneaking and texting me from work. They were unable to be to this meeting. So I'm just asking for future references when you have meetings like this, being that I know that they don't even come sometimes to the 5:30 and 6 o'clock meeting. We still as leaders must give them opportunities so they won't say, well, I didn't know. Because when the parents said to me, they was like, well, Precious, this is set out today. I can't be to this meeting for 2:30 and I want to be at this meeting. And so I just ask that for future references, we give people time to get to these meetings. Because we all know that when you're dealing with certain cultures, it takes us time to rally these people. It takes us time for them to understand the importance of why they need to be here. And also for the naysayers, we have something to say. We want to also give them opportunity as well. So I just ask that for future references.
Okay, I believe this lady is complaining about this being such a short notice meeting at a bad time at 2 p.m. and that there's a lot of people who are working and can't make this. So, I mean, that's it. It's a meeting where not a lot of people could attend, and that works in their favor on short notice.
That we have these type of meetings that would involve, especially with emphasis on African Americans, give us time to get the people to these meetings.
Point taken. Thanks for that. Any other questions, comments? All right. Thank you all for being here today. And we basically what we'll see is a summary put before the council on Monday. Then, as the charter lays out in section 4.0, now we've got within 30 days to hold a public hearing, which we will advertise well in advance. We have to let it advertise for 10 days. And after that public hearing, within 60 days, it has to be presented for the council. My aim is to put this up to the council, this appointment, to create this position on the first meeting in January. All right, once again, thank you all for being here.
All right, so they're talking about changing the constitution of the city, and this cannot happen overnight. This requires a lot of debate, and I mean, in my opinion, if I was there, I would certainly ask about using other methods, using better technology, instead of bringing in a bigger, tougher-looking guy who sounds like he's just going to go to war in the community, trying to root out the criminals. So it's something that it's not set in stone. I mean, because this is constitutional. This is a big change for the city, like far into the future. It's not easy to change the Constitution. So this is a recent meeting, and I'm just making comments, making a reaction video of this. Yeah, there's nothing that has to do with fire. This is only policing, safety, nothing about fire safety. But I have a vested interest in this because I might have to return. The Third Circuit Court of Appeal might rule in the Judge Ousley, the city judge's favor. But apparently there's nothing on the docket for January, so I'm looking at like more February, and all I can do is watch and listen. And they're on their Christmas. The Court of Appeals is on their Christmas vacation right now, so they start up again in January. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna just stop it here. So that's the video.